Hello, good morning, everyone. Hope you all are safe at home and finding good time. Let's start this morning with a wonderful quote written by Walt Disney. The way get started is to quit talking and begin doing. First, I want to introduce what mytrustedtutor.com is. It's a marketplace for private tutors, school teachers, and all kind of private uh, academicians and all kind of educational professions who can help with school assignments. Our mission is to make quality education available easily and affordable to all. So our guest speaker, our sir, is Anoop sir. She is based on Singapore. Anoop sir is BHM MBA and he learns Six Sigma Green Belt. Anoop sir is an accomplished adult educator with over 25 years of industrial experiences in training, facilitating, and consulting for clients in USA, Forest, Africa, and Middle East. He has 16 years of training and consulting experience in Lean Six Sigma, Agile, and Scrum, as well as data science. Conducted value stream mapping for one of the largest hospital in the world, Chris Hani Bharagavanet Academic Hospital in Johannesburg from 2015 to 2017. He conducted training for Appalink at Silicon Valley from 2011 to 2015 on various leadership subjects, as well as on Lean, Agile, and Scrum. He consulting work for all Hasco vendors, a leading player in the field of imports of exports, based out of Istanbul, accomplished visiting all locations. This project was very data driven and he had to calculate import and export rates on a daily with profit and loss. Sir is very experienced person and we would like to hear sir. Sir, now you can take over and thanks a lot for finding time for all of us.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Sometimes we do have a lot of problems, especially on these. So if I can just have a quick raise of hand, Radhika, I can start sharing my screen, which is visible, and we can get going, please. So is the voice clear, Radhika?
Sir, voice is clear.
All right, so I can start with this.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, great. Good afternoon and welcome to the Predictive Analytics and Business Intelligence short session, a virtual short session that what we have scheduled today. She's given a wonderful introduction. Just to add on to it very quickly, I live in Singapore. Fortunately, I'm stuck here for the last 4.5 to 5 months. But otherwise, my base is in the States and as well as in Indonesia. I do travel to India a lot. I do travel to Bangalore to conduct training programs as well as consult down to this particular topic with a very clear understanding of what I have gathered in the last 16 to 20 years on predictive analytics. I've been a person who's been conducting programs on NLP, that is mining massive data sets, and looking at it precisely from a business intelligence angle. Today, every one of us in this world, we are about 6 billion, 6.1, 6.2 billion. We all come back with a simple analogy by saying, how is it that somebody else did it and I couldn't do it? So much so, if we had to go back as far as the world is concerned, if we had to go back to 1999, 2000 or 2001, which share we would have bought in the Bombay Stock Exchange or which share we would have bought in the National Stock Exchange just when the NSE was hitting about 6,000 and BSE was about 8 or 9,000 points. So why is it that we don't get that kind of futuristic information? Now that is most important. The last 6, 7 years, 8 years, due to the advent of the internet, people are coming out with um, they're coming out with a lot of models, and unfortunately, as human beings, we fail to see them due to various reasons. I would like to begin with a very short duration or a very short video. I want all of you to just watch this and let me know what is it that you have seen. Sorry. You just need to see, you need to count how many times the players wearing the white pass the ball. So this is a basketball that has been dribbled by both. I mean, you have a lot of players there. They are wearing white shirt and black shirt. Just count how many times the players wearing the white pass the ball. That's about it, and then we'll connect. Any answers, please, for it? Anyone can type in, and maybe we'll take a few of them. That's fine, but probably Radhika can tell me the score. So, anyone who's been able to count the number of times that the player who was wearing the white shirt was passing the ball? Radhika, can you let me know how many of them have just sent in? Radhika, are you there?
Yeah, no.
Just a few show of hands, it's fine. If you all can text her or put it on the Zoom, it's okay.
So one from Professor Anvarsha ma'am told that it's 5.
Okay. Anyone else?
And Uzma ma'am told that it's 3 in white shirt. Then saw a monkey.
Okay. 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 I'll pass you all these videos so that you can use it, not to worry. No worry about it. I'm not a person to go up there and say, oh, I'm going to charge this much and I'm now never done that. Let's keep it humorous and let's keep it very thought, very focused. Even that's perfectly fine. Anyone else, please? Anyone else could see how many times the players wearing the white did pass the ball? Radhika, anything else you got?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, fine. So,
Kiran Dubey ma'am, Rahul sir told 14 times passed the ball.
okay, now he is coming in close. Anyway,
Kiran Dubey ma'am told 11 times.
11 times. Okay, fine. Then there are no right or wrong answers. But let's take a look at it. Let's actually just see. Okay. So you all said that it is about 3, 4, 5, 15, 16, 17. Just bear in mind, this is the way we take a look at the data when we are browsing on the internet. All right. I know that I'm sitting in Singapore as of now, somewhere in very close to Outram Park in a place known as Tiong Baru, raining outside. If I'm doing a browsing, if I'm searching for information, why is it that as an individual I get some information, why I don't get other information? This video is played precisely with that. Fine. So let's see what exactly is the answer. The correct answer is 16 passes. Okay, fine. There are no right or wrong answers. That's what I said. Did you all see something else there? Now, I'm sure that some of you all would have seen, apart from the players passing the basketball, you would have seen something else. Can I have a quick show of hands if you did see something? Moderator? Radhika, anything recorded?
Yeah, gorilla. Rahul sir,
Gorilla.
Kiran ma'am told. Yeah, Uzma ma'am
Oh,
also told.
okay, fine. You did see the gorilla, but did you see something else? No. Did you see? Did you see the color changing? The color of the curtain changing? Okay. If you have seen the color of the curtain changing, did you see one of the players leaving? Let's just rewind this, and I'll share this link with you all at the end of the session. You can take a look at it and see with what connection I'm coming in. Okay. Okay. If you did spot the gorilla, nearly half missed the gorilla. Right. If you knew about the gorilla, Now let's rewind it. All right. So I would now formally welcome you all to the session. Welcome to the session on predictive analytics and business intelligence. This is how it is when we are browsing on the internet, when we are looking for certain data, we always miss a lot of things. In the data analytics, we always say that it is not easy for everyone to find out a needle in a haystack. There's no doubt about it. The last 4 years, 5 years, in my experience, living and working in both in states as well as in different parts of the world, I have seen a lot of people coming back and telling me, Mr. Anoop, I'm a data scientist, I can do this, I can do that. I can improve this, your search engine optimization. I can make sure that your website is right there on the top of the page, everything else that they do. But why is it that, this is a question that all of us need to think about it. Why is it that we missed out on the data? Why is it that we missed out on the coronavirus data that it started sometime in the month of October? Couldn't we not have spotted it out? Or was there exactly someone who did see all these things and yet they kept quiet? Is there a new wave that is coming in, or are we dependent on the internet and on the television anchor person coming back and saying, hey, today there were 14,523 cases in south of Colorado, but in Mumbai there were only about 233 cases and we had 90% recovered from that. The first point that I would like to share with you all, very honestly, is that irrespective of the business that you're coming in, we should be able to do data mining according to our industry. We should not be dependent on others in terms of asking them for the data. Nobody can help us out with our industry as long as we are doing the data mining. When one of our participants recently learned the trade of trying to understand what is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is a part of analytics that can predict based on the historic data, that is based on the previous data or based on the events that have taken place. And it can also merge a lot in terms of taking in the existing data. Now, for the participants today, the word data is only, you can relate it to the word information. Don't get confused with anything else. There are a lot of data points that comes in, right? For example, Google does about 20 petabyte of data mining a day. That is equal to something like 145 years of all the photos being published. Or probably they'll be looking out for one single word what was spoken in Chinese about 20 years back and combined all the library put together. They have that kind of a sophisticated system trying to search. But individuals like you and me, what do we have to do in terms of moving ahead as far as our business is concerned? Now, that is the focus. I come from typically a training industry, and I also do come from an industry wherein I go ahead with the Lean Six Sigma, and as well as TRIA, that is a theory of innovative problem solving. I don't have an office, and I have the entire world because I'm connected to the internet. When I'm searching for who's going to be my next customer, I also keep or I also bear in mind that there is an invisible gorilla and there are a lot of changes that are taking place. There are people who are playing around, and how do I do it? And that's what I'm here trying to share within this 1 hour. We try and keep it as simple as we can. And at the end of the session, we'll also take up as many questions as we can. Take, for example, we have nearly 500 million tweets that are sent a day. We just keep that as an example, ladies and gentlemen. When we have 500 million tweets that are sent a day, what exactly are we looking out for it? Look at this particular one. Sorry. So take a look at this, right? I've opened a few screens for you so that you don't have to look. The Twitter falls gives us the kind of an exact search. There are a lot of these search engines that really helps us. Now, if I'm looking out for, If I'm looking out for jobs in Singapore, I do get jobs in Singapore coming in less than about 5, 6 minutes or 7 minutes. Now, as you are seeing, you're able to see, wow, we need business development executive, vacancies open in Malaysia. This was about 3 hours ago. There is a company 3 hours ago that I mentioned. So you can go on looking at a lot of these tools like the Twitter polls or 1 million tweets for that matter, which exactly tells you the kind of jobs that are coming in on a day-to-day basis. And as of now, so as I did mention, there are two types of data mining. One is with a transient data, and the other one is with an intransient data. That is, this is a transient. This is happening as of now. So how do I look at this particular data and decide where my job is going to be? Now I can't take a look at something like this. Somebody from Everything Singapore says finding a job amidst the pandemic. He says, okay, go stand out and then tweet. But there are ways of trying to skim this up by way of using the sentiment analytics. We use a lot of these analytics tools in terms of understanding who's actually looking out for whom. So when we do that, it becomes much, much more easier. There's another one more tool that I would like to show you all for your information, which is 1 million tweets. Okay. If you take a look at the 1 million tweets as well, Twitter is just one part of it. Now, can you just see this? This is the live data that is coming in. The live data is getting fed. I haven't logged on to it because I don't have time. But however, when we do that, we'll be able to see who's tweeting and what are they tweeting. And that information is enough for us to tell what is the trend going to be. Now, the word trend is extremely important. You can see in India, wow, look at the amount of people who are tweeting. Let me try and take you a little bit more inside if I can. I'm sure that all of you are from Mumbai, so let's see who's trying to. Okay, Maharashtra is here. Oh, I went to okay, I'll share this with you. You can try and take a look at it. Doesn't matter. Sorry, the screen is not able to take that kind of a load, but otherwise on a bigger screen, yes, we can. And this is how we see the trend, because unless and until we see the trend, we will not be able to know what people are trying to tweet or what people are trying to say. Now, that is extremely important. We normally 90% of the time in the analytics world or in the real world, we say maybe this is going to be good for you. Like during during this pandemic time, a lot of people came back and said, "Hello, Mr. Anoop, I would like to start a business on hand sanitizer. What do you think about it? What does your data mining say?" Well, hand sanitizer, there are about 1 million people who are manufacturing. So if you get into that particular space, you will not be able to make too much of money. What about the mask? No, you would not be able to do it. Then what else would fit in? That is when, as data scientists, we use a lot of these tools to understand where the market is heading. When we try to take a look at that particular direction in which the market is heading, it is like it is someone like Sherlock Holmes who's trying to solve a puzzle, right? A mystery. He solves it only trying to take a look at it through his lens. We do that to a very large extent. Now, it is not rocket science. It does not need too much of intelligence to do it. What we need to do to understand predictive analytics is to see the trend that is coming in. Now, apart from this trend, I would also like to tell you one more thing. How does the future look like? Now, if I can take you a little bit from this, the future from now. Now, we are on 25th of July as of today. How does the future look like by 25th of August, 25th of September, 25th of October? Now, we have done a lot of work around the same. And the future looks like the best industry for traveling is going to start by around September, October, or by November. Now, when we say this, a lot of people at times they laugh. They say, "Wow, there is pandemic on one side, and you're predicting that you're going to have traveling." Well, people are willing to travel within the region, within the country. They're planning to travel in a robust way, even keeping safe distances to remote places. Now, when we did sentiment analytics, and we found out where exactly are they planning to go. Now, I can't say that there is a person by name Ram Kumar who would be heading to Vashi or he would be heading to south of Mumbai on the 15th of September. Now, that's very absurd. That's very weird. But I can say that number of Mumbaikars traveling to the nearest destination, probably to Goa, looks to be very high because of the way that they are searching and the way that they are using the keywords on Google. This is how we use the analytics to predict the sentiments, the direction in which people are going. Hotel stay is also going to be good, but these are being clearly seen as an indicator, as I mentioned, only towards uh, the beach resorts or in a quiet place. Healthcare is going to be increasing a lot, especially with the biodegradable products. Now take a look at it. I thank all of you all to have come in for this very short session. If you are in the business, please take a look at biodegradable products. Just make a list of these biodegradable products and then you can come back to me through Trust Recruiter at any time and say, wow, I thought that I did not have a good business to sell or to buy a product. I bought very little, but I'm making money. Biodegradable on our data mining radar says that it's about 1.2 to 1.3 billion dollar industry in the next 1 year in India alone. So if you take a look at the pizza boxes, now this is very interesting. This data also came in when we were doing the data mining. I'm sorry, someone interviewing? Okay, no. What does the pizza box say? This is very interesting if you take a look at it, because the indicators do indicate what people are looking at. They are looking at pizza boxes. I'll share this. I'll share this. This is a very interesting analogy to in terms of what I'm sharing with you all. People don't want to have pizzas in the usual pizza boxes because by the time the pizza comes from a place to another place, the traveling time is about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. The pizzas always become cold. It's like the naans that we have, right? The naans and then the kulchas that what we do have. When they reach, or even the masala dosas, when they reach home, unfortunately, the food becomes very soggy and it becomes very rubbery. So the naan is not all hot. We would like the pizza also to be hot. In Singapore, the demand is so high for the pizza boxes that can keep it very hot. And when I was doing the data mining, I came to know that there is a company that has patented the pizza boxes wherein the pizzas can remain hot for about nearly 3 to 4 hours. You'll be shocked if I will tell you all where exactly is this pizza box made. It is made in none. It's made in a place in Mumbai, which I'm from a place known as Mysore, so I'm used to calling Mumbai and Bombay. But for those days we only went two places, either Bangalore or Bombay, and then after that we moved out. So Mumbai, all right. And the gentleman who manufactures these pizza boxes, he has patented it. And I was like, wow, how is it that in a country like Singapore, no one has even realized that we do have pizza boxes that can come from, say, from Mumbai to Singapore, and we can start selling. Now, another business associate who was looking out for it, he was literally still. How long did it take for us to do this kind of a data mining? It probably took about 2 to 3 hours because due to this pandemic, half the office is not here. They've all moved back. So predictive analytics, ladies and gentlemen, is an indicator to indicate what is the direction that we all need to take. It could be your career, it could be your business, it could be, as a pilot, where exactly or which airline is giving you the most or the best, which can be in the future. Of course, these are not the stringent rules that is going to say that, okay, this is definitely a sure shot winner, but this is the way how the waves are coming in an ocean. This is the way how the people are looking at the data and they are translating. Now, 6 billion people out of that, almost about a billion are very, very, very active, right? today on the internet, on all the social medias they're active. They are communicating something or the other. You did see with the typical invisible gorilla. We missed out. Yes, we do miss out because when I'm looking at Times of India newspaper online, I do miss out for a few more things. But I use the predictive analytics modeling to see what I need for that particular day. That's the way how we go about it. Certain other things, food industry will undergo a lot of changes. That is the futuristic thing in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months. A drastic change it is going to take up. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah. Food industry will undergo a lot of changes. So I do not know in this forum how many of you all to come from a business background, how many of you all are looking at it. If you are coming in from a business background, if you're looking at new industry or an industry that can help you to make more money, please try to take a look at the packaging industry or the food industry. You will be able to move ahead and surge ahead. There is no iota of doubt because there are very strong indicators. We also measure these indicators. By the way, these indicators are not something like, okay, here is a data scientist and he comes out and says, this is not like astrology. This is not something that we predict based on certain things. This is based on real science. This is based on what people are actually saying. They are showing sentiment, their own way of trying to move ahead. The other thing also is that it relates to the health and to the educational industry. Yes, these are the two industries that is going to take a rampant changes. If we would like to move ahead after this particular session, I would leave the forum open. Probably you can shoot all your questions through Radhika and to Rishabh. I'm sorry that I failed to say this. Rishabh is the one who got in touch with me, or I got in touch with him. Please take a look at it. He's in Gabon in Africa. I am in Singapore. You're all in Bombay, Mumbai, all over India. So just see the link that how we have connected. This is just a very short session of understanding about it. Probably going forward, what we can do is that I can understand your industry, where you're coming from. Based on that, I can give you the analogy and help you to do a research on your own to see whether you're moving ahead in the right path or in a different direction. Okay, right. The next one that I do have is that a peek into the future, which I've been discussing this with this. Educational industry has been saying this changes a lot. People who are coming in from an educational industry to not only stick to the digital platform, but you can try to take a look at the digital campus kind of a platform, because it is all going to be about life sciences and it is going to reduce in terms of how many marks a student is going to get. Now that is clear indicator that is being shown. All these years we have gauged a student based on the marks that what he gets, right? If he gets about 98%, 99%, 99.2, 99.3, they're extremely happy. We say, wow, my son is extremely intelligent. My daughter is very intelligent because she got 99.9. No, the future is like, it is going to be precisely on the life skills that how talented is she or how talented is he and how he can move about it. So the future data also depends on the past data. For people like us who are born in the 60s, right? So for us 70s and 80s, which show us how to move ahead. And today we are also looking at during that particular time, life skills were equally important along with our education. Fitness centers are going to be completely different. They are not going to be the same. They will go through a rampant changes. And in India, we also do see an indicator stating that the Ayurvedic centers are going to really increase. Holiday makers are mostly going to be driven to the villages and to the hill stations. Just see this, okay? If you're coming in from a business angle, if you're coming in from a business background, you do know that you have your proximity to a village is very close by, or you have someone who lives in a village, and you start a resort there, or you start a holiday home, or you offer 3 days packages there with the internet connection and an air conditioning or whatever it is. That would be a little bit of investment. you are going to be a winner because people are looking more towards international travel is going to be cut down by almost about 60 to 70%. There is no doubt about it. Gone are the days where people would travel to Europe, like how we would travel a lot to Paris to London. I lived in UK for a long time. I studied in Switzerland, spent half my time in Turkey, traveling in Turkey a lot as well. Right? Of course, I had to take off my PR those days. That's a different scenario. And hill stations. Now, where are we getting this data coming in from? These are all coming in from the analytics. I will take a few questions from you all. So, what I would like to say is that send a list of the few industries that you do represent. I have taken exactly about 40 minutes for it. So I can answer a few questions. There is no doubt about it. Nothing hinders us, especially when you are coming from India. Nothing hinders me in not asking you all. List down your products or services that you are in, and do let me know. We can take about 4 or 5 questions at the moment. Which industry you are coming in from, and what do you need from us? It's a huge world, right? Analytics, predictive, prescriptive, descriptive analytics is so huge. I will cite one last example. I did a program for a wonderful company known as Kantar, Kantar. They are based out of Hyderabad. This was way back about 3.5 to 4 years ago. I think it was around 2016. Yeah, they flew me into Hyderabad and I went there. Kantar used to do predictive analytics and data mining for Pepsi. Now, just imagine this, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm sharing is. They had about 30, 35 employees on that particular project for Pepsi. Now, Pepsi has a huge base in North Carolina, in Atlantic, in US. These kids, brilliant, very brilliant engineers, who are based in Hyderabad, were able to tell the Pepsi drivers how many loads or probably how many bottles of Pepsi they have to uh, dump at a 7-Eleven store or in another massive Target kind of a thing, which is like the Reliance Mart thing. They were literally shocked. How did they do it? They did gather the analytics and said how many people are going, how many people are consuming Pepsi, and what is the time of the day that they consume, and what is the time of the year that they consume, and then they went about it. It's just a very small example. It also reminds me, we had another company wherein I did a program. This was one of the world's best, well-known organization on imitated jewelry. I'm not good with the gold, please excuse me. Uh, this was the artificial jewel, and they were selling the artificial jewel at Walmart in US. After the program, and they understood, they were able to clearly come back and design this note. Enough, please turn on the laptop, Shankar. They were able to come back and they were able to predict. They were able to predict which design would be liked by the Americans at what time of the day. This is why I said, please list down a few industry or whichever industry you come from. Ask me questions directly. There is absolutely no issues about it. It's the first time that I'm addressing you all on this forum. My apologies if there were any mistakes. List down the products and services wherein you need my help and route it through Radhika and through Rishabh. I'm sure I'll be able to take some questions now and I'll be able to come back to you all with a precise answer in terms of going ahead. So I would like to keep it short and sweet and simple, about 45 minutes. I'm open and keep the forum open for 10 minutes or 15 minutes for any questions that you do have. Thank you very much for coming down to this session. I wish that it was more of one-to-one wherein we could interact, but today due to the pandemic, you have seen the way how it's been going on. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much. I'll share all these slides as well as the YouTube link on Monkey Illusion to you all. And let's keep the forum open. Radhika, over to you, please.
Thank you, sir, for the so interactive session and so much information you have provided to us regarding business and all. I'm sharing, sir, one form. I request everyone to fill that form. It's a feedback form.
No, feedback is fine. No, 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 no. Feedback is fine. And I'll also mention this to all the participants here. What usually happens is that feedback is okay. I mean, you will say it's good, it's bad, it's ugly, it's all those things. It's just about 45 minutes. We generally cannot get a feedback because we need to have a little more things. What I'm more interested is in terms of you all asking me direct questions by saying which industry you come from and what kind of the lookout that you need, because it will also be challenging for me to bring in a new customer to you all or help you all to get a new customer. How about that? That would be fantastic. If someone can do it, nothing like it, right? Okay, so Radhika, over to you, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sir. I'm not getting any question.
Any questions, please? Kindly ask me. I still have another 5-10 minutes, so
Sir, we have one question from Kiran ma'am.
please, sure.
Uh, uh,
And
pre-
by the way, I did hear Kiran ma'am from the first, so I want to know where is she from? Huh? I don't see her, but that's fine. And just give me a quick introduction and let me know what to say.
Kiran ma'am, are you there? Uh, yeah, she asked, predictive analysis makes predictions about unknown future using data mining, predictive modeling. So how about using software related with same?
How about what?
How about using software related with same is useful?
Well, it is useful, but what happens is that when we do depend, I'm saying about you need 60 to 40 ratio, in my opinion. Initially, when you are going about it, if we try to depend on the software and key in a data, the data, what it comes out is from a software. The programs are being written. As a human being, I would like to use my intelligence and try to understand why it is right, why it is wrong. Now, it is a huge world, there is no doubt about it. When you are trying to do data mining for about 20 companies, 30 companies, we always depend on the software. So there are two parts to it. One is from an individual angle and one is from an organization per se. If it is from an organization per se, it is good to use a software. I do have a couple of tools for you. Probably you can take a look at ClickView, Danda, Tableau, Locker, Loker, which has recently been bought over by Google. These are all data visualization software. Data as such, when we take a look at the numbers, when they are very huge, we will not be able to understand. However, if the numbers do come out in terms of a data, I'm sorry, numbers do come out in terms of the visual, it is going to be very helpful, right? So keep it around 60-40. Use your intelligence 40% of the time to understand, and 60% you can use feeding the data from Tableau, ClickViews, and all these kind of tools. You will be able to do much better. Anything more, you can always write to me. I'm sure I'll be able to help you with wherever I can. Studying which, as a visiting professor in a couple of universities, I have my friends in Stanford to Harvard and other places. They all do this work, and we have a common forum where we can to help people who would like to understand, no doubt. Next question.
What are useful tools to analyze vast data?
What are useful tools to analyze?
Vast data.
Tableau, Tableau. Take Tableau for that matter. Excel is okay, but Tableau gives you a clear indication. See, as I was telling you about Canvas, what we did was we used Tableau was because with Tableau, it could actually predict, it could actually show how many people are looking at Pepsi during 12 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon and which particular region. Then we could, conclude or come out with a business intelligence. So Tableau is one, Dundas is another one. Dundas is somehow not very famous in India, but Dundas, DAS, data visualization software is extremely extremely famous in the States. So in the US, how do they do data mining is they would like the data to represent in terms of numbers. One typical example that I can give you is that number of people who are living in Mumbai, a number of experience living in Mumbai, and which part of Mumbai do they like a particular dish, and if they like that particular dish, how many times in a year do they like, and what time of the year do they like, and when do they like, and what are the chances of me trying to push my particular that particular dish. Now it could be the vada pav there, or it could be something else, the vada pav with a chili, or the vada pav with a chili sauce, or a vada pav with added with a dash of lime, or whatever it is. I'm just offshoot. It's just coming out. So how do I know that there are so many people? If the data gets scattered all over Mumbai, then it's very difficult if I'm manufacturing something. I can't go all around because my time is away. Can I just combine all the data and see the number of people and does it make real sense? So for this, we use the visualization tools, as I did mention to you. So I'll send you a few lists, probably you can share with them. Good. Any
Uh,
more?
yeah. How can we use predictive analysis in the education industry in the role of an educator to improve the overall teaching process, predict demand for certain kind of teaching methodologies so that they can be effectively implemented?
This is definitely from a principal of a school or from college. Definitely from an ICSC, CBSE school or a college. Am I right enough in saying that?
Yes, I guess.
Or is it you who's asking now, Radhika? Because you come from an educational industry. Okay,
No,
that's
no, I'm
fine.
not
Let's
asking.
leave it.
Professor Anvesha ma'am is asking this one, and she
Okay,
is
good.
telling that she is a lecturer.
Oh, that's great. Okay, just repeat the question once again. Let's hear it once again.
Yeah, sure. How can we use predictive analysis in the education industry in the role of an educator to improve the
Mhm.
overall teaching process, predict demand for certain kind of teaching methodologies so that they can be effectively implemented?
Okay. Okay, Mrs. Anvesh, if I can say this, one of the tools that what you have to do is that you need to take a look at the benchmark analytics, comparative analytics, and as well as trying to see the students in terms of using a decision tree. Now, we do know that when we have students who come into a school, we always say that there are a few students who like mathematics. There are 90% of the students they don't like chemistry. Now, my wife is a chemistry teacher. She's also a scientist and she handles the chemistry classes. Now, there are various students who like certain subjects, students who don't like the subject. What you can do at this moment is that to understand that particular trend, use a decision tree. Decision tree will really help you to see what exactly are their their likelihood and then their the keenness in terms of accepting a subject. Decision tree also guides us in terms of seeing whether they are going to be promiscuous and whether they are going to be highly successful in their nature. I would like to cite another example here. In India, we do have this common misconception by saying, if my son studies engineering or if my son becomes a doctor, he's going to be highly successful. One, because the data those days was only pointing towards doctors and engineers getting some job or the other. There were plenty of them who were trying to do something which is quite extraordinary, and they did get it. The suggestive answer for the trend is that you do a trend analysis and also take a look at the decision tree. I have a wonderful notes for you on it, pretty simple. You will be able to fill in and you can conclude on that. I'll send it to you, no issues on that. I'm able to take one more last question, Radhika, because at 3:15 I have
Yeah,
to do another one.
Anvesha ma'am is saying, correct. I wanted to know if it's common in the education industry too, as it is in other industries.
Sorry, say that again. Common in the education industry too?
As it is in other industries.
No, it is not. It is not. Mr. Nalveshwar, let me also share this with you. When you do your predictive analytics in your school or in your college particularly, you will be able to change even the timetable. I remember this very clearly. Here, what happened? No, this was in Indonesia. In Bali, there is a very famous international school. They did the analytics, and then they came to know that how they can help the students to get higher marks by teaching them the least, not to teach them more. Do you know what they did? They did change the timetable. They never had mathematics as the first class on Monday morning. They had a music class on Monday morning. They had Monday to be much more relaxed than any other day. They had Tuesdays earmarked for English. Wednesdays and Thursdays, they had scaled it up with math and science, whereas Fridays, it was only some kind of a social science or arts or something like that. Similar modeling was used by the University of Stockholm, which today comes out with a strict rule by saying every student has to do homework only for 10 minutes. Anyone who does the homework for more than 10 minutes is not allowed into the class. So what happens is that it narrows down in terms of what the student has to know. Now, from a mathematics angle, I can come back and say, if we analyze it from predictive analytics, it says in a particular school, 90% of the students are not able to understand trigonometry, but everyone is able to understand calculus. So the focus the next week can be on trigonometry so that we save a lot of time in terms of it. We don't go like the video, we don't just go around here and there. I'll be able to share much more on that. Okay. Good. Anything else, Radhika?
Sir, now one question from my side. Does the development of new information technologies affect the process of improving internet banking security system?
No. What do you mean by that?
Uh, I guess lots of frauds are happening nowadays.
Well, a lot,
Banking
lots of what?
frauds regarding
It,
banking
it,
sectors and
it is in fact in the analytics, it was in fact very clearly and evidently seen during the month of October itself. As the recession starts compounding, so is it with the fraud that keeps on increasing. I had even said this here in the forum during the month of January in Singapore by saying that number of calls are going to increase. There are a number of calls coming in even here as well. Well, as the technology moves, yes, it is for that we do, the analytics that what we do on the cyber security is completely different. We can take a look at it. But my answer towards that particular question is that these clearly are the indicators that comes in. However, it cannot just be eradicated in total. Look, the banking industry, the way that the security is coming in, the double PIN system, the triple PIN system, user ID being forgotten, even then the facial recognition, the thumbprint, the biometrics, all these things is fine. As we are moving forward, so is the crime is also being increasing because the data is being shown to all these cyber criminals who are being able to read that particular data. That cannot be eradicated in the world, but however, it can be mitigated to a very large extent. That's all what I think.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Right? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was an absolute pleasure. I wish that we had an interactive session. Why not one of these days after the pandemic that is going to end? Yes, everyone will come back and say from predictive analytics, when will the pandemic end? There are indicators to clearly indicate that by around October, November is the time that 70 to 80% should be, it should get better. But how and when, we'll send you a link on the medical analytics that is moving ahead. You can see the progress that is being taken ahead. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's a never-ending kind of a story that comes in. Thank you so much for taking time on a Saturday. I'm sorry that it was just a 1 hour of a very short session. We shall have a longer one with a practical modeling that is coming in at a later date. So for those sessions, what we can do is that I can send you all the complete text, the PPT slides well ahead of time so that and we can really sit down and work around with the case studies. This will be assets that you are using your internet, you are digging into the data, you are able to predict it, you are able to vet the data and see whether you are right or wrong. And if you are right, you will be able to see what is the kind of a business progress that you can make as well. So we have gone to that extent indeed. So I say thanks to Rishabh as well as to Radhika from Trusted Tutor. I'll be signing off at the moment. God bless you all. Take care.
Thanks, sir. Sir, thanks a lot for this lovely sessions and for the answers you shared with us. I guess it's very useful to
No, no,
us.
whatever it is, you can share the questions on the email. I'll be able to send it. Because you should also understand, we speak at a rate of about 130 words in English, right? And we listen at a rate of 650 words a minute. So if for about an hour, if I have spoken at a rate of about 130, 120 to 130 words a minute, that's going to be about 7,200 words. How many words the listeners would have got? That's when I said, as far as the feedback is concerned, it's good. But in the meanwhile, we will try and see what else they need. So let's create this kind of a value stream and we'll do a value mapping. God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sir, one more question. Professor Anvesha ma'am is asking for your mail ID.
Oh, so for everyone, it's pretty simple. My name is Anoop Nagarajan, ANOOP, @gmail.com. I repeat, Anoop, as in ANOOP, Nagarajan, Nagarajan, @gmail.com. You can send it to me and we'll definitely reply to you. Don't worry about the fee. If you are doing very good, next time if we come to Mumbai or to your place, just buy us a cup of coffee or tea. That's all. Thank you. God bless you. It was a fantastic session. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Beautiful.